What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Nonfia, and today I'm here in Lost Relics to teach you how to farm gold effectively in the game. If you haven't done so already, please check out my previous video where I go over how to complete all the beginner quests in Lost Relics. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Before I go into detail on how to farm gold effectively in the game, I do want to note that it is required that you spend a little bit of engine to recreate the build that I have here. It's not required that you spend engine in order to farm gold in the game or even play the game, but in order to recreate the build that I have, you will need to spend some engine. So this isn't financial advice, but more just a guide on how to farm gold effectively while spending a little bit of engine doing so. Alright, before I go into detail on how to effectively farm gold in the game, let's talk about the build that I have shown here. You can see that I have a rare weapon and rare artifacts. So let's start off with the rare weapon, which is the Lost Stampeder. This is a great weapon to have because it's relatively cheap. It goes for about 4.5 to 5 eng. And you can see here that it offers 10% increased damage. This is a better weapon amongst the other rare weapons that are offered in the game because of the unique ability of 10% increased damage. This allows you to kill mobs slightly better than if you had a weapon that didn't have this effect. Next, we have the Meridium Armor, which goes for 600 gold. Armor is great to have because, and this one particularly because it gives you plus 62 defense and plus 225 base health. So if you're doing a rare dungeon run and you're getting hit by mobs a little too much, well, the plus 62 defense should be able to help mitigate some damage. Next, let's go over the artifacts. The first one being the Bloodspire Ring. This goes for about 1 engine. It unleashes a shockwave, dealing 778 damage and causing bleed for 150 damage over 5 seconds. So this is a great AoE magic artifact to have, and the idea is you want to gather up as many mobs as you can and then unleash the Bloodspire Ring for an AoE effect. I'll show you what that looks like when I do a test run. The next artifact we have here is the Crude Bice, which also goes for about an engine. It gives you 10% speed increase for 40 seconds with a 60-second cooldown, and you can use it up to 5 times. So if you don't have a morph, it's okay because this Crude Bice will allow you to move faster within a dungeon. So it's not necessary you have a morph, but if you had the morph, then you could just pop an overmorph potion and use your morph and then swap this out for a different relic, perhaps like the Infernal Hellfire. Next, we have the dried blushberries. Dried blushberries, Jorth walnuts, and Ardenium cookie are health and energy based relics that regenerate health and energy up to 2 uses. The dried blushberries goes for 3.5 to 4 eng, where it gives you plus 250 health and 550 energy over 5 seconds. So again, with 2 uses. Then you have the Jorth walnuts, which goes for about 4.25 to 4.5 eng. That gives you 600 health and 200 energy. And then you have the Ardenium cookie, which goes for about 8 engine. That gives you plus 350 health and 450 energy over 5 seconds. The last artifact we have here is the Worn Treasure Map. This is a great artifact to have because of its effect that reveals some parts of the map. So as you enter the run, you'll notice that some parts of your map were exposed, which should help you kind of predict where you're going in the map and locate dead ends faster, and potentially locate the exit faster so you're able to complete each dungeon run in a more timely manner. Now let's go over how to effectively farm gold in the game. One thing I forgot to mention is at the time of this recording, this build costs about 25 eng in order to recreate, which at the current price of engine is about $4 US. So again, it's not necessary to recreate this build by spending engine, but if you wish to in order to farm gold effectively, it's going to cost you about 25 eng. Now let's talk about how to farm gold effectively in the game. Alright, the method for how to farm gold effectively in Lost Relics is by doing a rare dungeon map, more specifically doing the dungeon map called Fhurs, and getting golden grind chests. Now, the way to get golden grind chests more effectively is by not carrying any tools at all. As you can see here, in my build, I have no tools whatsoever. The reason for that is when you don't carry tools in a dungeon run, you have more chances of obtaining golden grind chests. When you do a rare tier dungeon map, you have the chance to obtain up to 2 golden grind chests. Now, when we're doing the map Fhurs, you should be able to complete it within 3 to 4 minutes because you're not spending time gathering and you're only spending time killing monsters. Now, at the time of this recording, golden grind chests are going for about 1100 to 1200 gold. So if you have the chance of obtaining 2 golden grind chests within 3 to 4 minutes, you should be getting 2400 gold every 3 to 4 minutes, which is pretty good. Now I'll show you what that looks like in a test run, and I'll even show you some data by showing you what I got by doing 10 test runs, and showing you how much gold I made within those 10 runs. Alright, as mentioned before, I'm going to be doing a test run of Fhurs to show you how to use these artifacts accordingly. So I've loaded into the run. Because I'm a member and I'm over level 36, I get a 25% speed buff. Using that with the crude bice is pretty effective. And now, as you can see, I'm gonna gather up mobs and AoE them down. Now, again, because I also have the Worn Treasure map, as mentioned before, you can see that I have some parts of the map exposed, which is really nice. Primarily, what you want to be thinking about is as you're doing your dungeon runs, you're really going to be using the Bloodspire Ring a lot more frequently than you are your weapon. So, thinking back on it, I guess the Lost Stampeder isn't a necessary weapon to have. You can kind of have any, one-handed or two-handed rare weapon, but I just like the Lost Stampeder for instances like this, where you saw that Slither still survive after I popped Bloodspire Ring. So, it's really more for the tanky mobs, I suppose. Wait, you saw there, I think I aggroed like 5 or 6 mobs. One Bloodspire Ring pop just was able to AoE them down. That's why I feel like, again, this artifact is pretty essential when it comes to this build. And we found the dungeon exit, which is amazing, because now I know where I need to go back to when it comes time to complete the dungeon run. Toggling the map like this is pretty effective as well, just so that you kind of know where you're going. If you mess around with the settings a little bit, you can make this a bit more transparent by messing with the opacity settings. So strongly encourage you to toggle the map button by pushing M, and kind of see where you're going as you're completing your run. Alright, now that we finish up the run, now we're going to want to just use up our artifacts um, in order to replenish our energy and health so that we can basically run this dungeon map run again. So again, like the idea is you want to have your artifacts ready to go so that you can just pop them as you're approaching the exit. So that you have full health and full energy so you can do runs back to back. And now with the run completed, you can see that that run took me about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. It does take a bit of time to get the runs down to like 3 minutes per run, but if you practice enough, you'll be able to see that your run times will go down lower. That was just a test run for purposes of the video, but still, I think my summation of how long the run should take you was fairly accurate, between 3 to 4 minutes per run. And you can see here I got 2 golden grind chests, 1 small bones, and 1 large bones, totaling out to a market estimate of 2,400 gold. So 2,400 gold in 4.5 minutes is probably the most effective that I've seen in terms of like grinding out maps and obtaining gold. So yeah, in the next section, I'm gonna do 10 runs total, and I'm gonna show you what I got in each of the runs and how much gold you can anticipate getting per hour if you were to copy this build. Alright, as mentioned before, I've done my 10 Fhurs runs as indicated here. I'll be sure to share this Google spreadsheet in the comment section so that you can check it out yourself. And if you want to recreate this, you can do so. So on average, when I did 10 Fhurs runs, it took about 3 minutes and 38 seconds to complete. And on average, in terms of marketplace value for the items that I got about 2,000 gold. Then the gold earned in the dungeons led me to 112 gold for a total of roughly 2,100 gold per dungeon run. So if we wanted to use the gold per hour method, well, you can see here that you can do about 14 Fhurs runs, and you can see that when doing 14 Fhurs runs, the marketplace value per gold that you're getting is 28,400. Another 1568 earned in the gold that you get from the dungeon, and in total you can earn up to 30,000 gold per hour if you're doing back-to-back runs. Do note that this 30,000 gold at this point in time is contingent on the value of the golden grind chest, as that was the item that really drove the averages for how much gold you're making per run. So if the value of the golden grind chests go down in the future, then this method may not be viable and I may have to come up with a new strategy for farming gold. But again, at this time, my suggestion would be to grind out Fhurs with the build that I had shown and get your runs down to 3 to 4 minutes per run, and you should be getting 30,000 gold per hour. So that was all I had for you here today. Thank you so much for checking out my YouTube video. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please be sure to also check me out on Twitch, as I love to live stream Lost Relics. And also, if you haven't done so already, please check out my previous videos where I cover some new player guides that may help you as you're grinding Lost Relics. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your day.